Hi everyone, this is Nathaniel's story. So this is a picture of Nathaniel, and he was from Mexico City, Mexico. The dot is that city. So this right here is the United States, and here's Mexico. So name is Nathaniel Valera from Mexico City, Mexico. Current city, St. Paul, Minnesota. In the yellow box, it says, I wanted to see new places and to meet new people because I felt that there wasn't a purpose for me in Mexico. My name is Nathaniel. I wasn't a I wasn't a refugee in a camp, and I didn't pass through war, so I consider my life very privileged. My mom and dad came to St. Paul when they are around 18 years old. Then I was born here in St. Paul. When I was 1 year and 8 months old, my mom decided to take me back to Mexico because my dad was deported and she didn't want to be here alone. I used to ask my mom, why did you bring me here? I could have had a better life and more opportunities in America. My mom left me with my grandparents while she went back with my father to a ranch. I remember that they were worried about me because I didn't want to try the food. My grandfather told me, eat by yourself or I will shove some food in your mouth. I refused to eat, so he grabbed a bunch of food and stuck it in my mouth. That was the first time I liked the food that my grandmother cooked. When I turned 5, I started to see the good things about my life. My mom came back to live with us. We lived close to the church, so I went to church almost every day, and I had a lot of family living around. Kindergarten was hard for me. I didn't speak with anyone, and I sat alone. My teachers called my mom because I wasn't doing anything, but then I met a boy, and we became friends. I had someone to play with, and I didn't feel alone anymore. Things started to get better because I felt that I belonged to my family and my school, but it didn't last. There was a fight between my grandfather and his sisters, so we moved. The new house wasn't quite ready to live in, but we didn't have options. It was the first time that I remember my family living together. My mom, my sister, my uncle, my aunt, my grandfather, and my grandmother all lived together in the same house. It was quite nice because I never felt alone. I went to a new school and had the same problems again. I didn't make any friends. I was smaller than the other kids. My father turned out not to be the kind of father you would like to be around. My mother was scared that one day he would go to school and pick my sister and me up and run away with us. After a few months, I received the news that my mom was going to have a baby. My mom and dad had a lot of discussions. My mom was scared because my brother had a syndrome. Lucky for us, we had a grandfather who would protect my mother and my little brother. He wanted my brother to be born. He said to my mom, You have to have this baby." He thought that it was a blessing to have a baby and that there was a reason for everything. When she had my brother, Jeziel, the doctors told her that he would not live too long. The longest that he would live was around 15 years or something like that. Now he is 13 years old and living in Mexico. He is doing well right now. He opened our mind to see the world in its beauty. So it was a blessing, like my grandfather told us. Another turning point in my life was when my grandfather passed away in September of 2006. We did not expect it, and we were very upset. He was an important person in my life, but the feelings grew stronger when he passed away. His presence in my life and his passing made me who I am right now. I saw him as my mentor, and I want to become wise and compassionate like he was. He was a humanitarian, putting everyone else's needs first instead of his. When that happened, I was going to middle school, and I started questioning the purpose of life and why we have to die. I didn't realize until years later that it just happens. It was hard for everyone. But now I feel like I was selfish because I was just thinking about how I felt and I didn't think of how my family felt. I acted irrationally, and that brought more pain to my family. Nothing made sense anymore. I stopped paying attention in class, skipped classes, and stopped studying. I tried to run away a couple times too. A year later, my grandfather, my uncle, and my aunt decided to move to another house. Instead of moving with them, my mom and my siblings decided to stay with my dad. That time, my dad connected with us and I started to know him better, but I still felt lonely. After a while, my father decided to go his own way. We decided to move in with my grandmother, my aunt, and my uncle. I had U.S. citizenship because I was born in St. Paul. I remember that my mom used to tell me all the time, you got to be prepared because one day, believe me or not, your uncle is going to come for you and he's going to take you to the United States. When my uncle came to visit us in Mexico a few years ago, I wasn't ready to leave behind my family and my home, but I decided to come just because I wanted to experience more things. I wanted to see new places and to meet new people because I felt that there wasn't a purpose for me in Mexico. When I came to the United States, I didn't know what to do or have any plans. I was just hanging around with my uncle. It wasn't until 2 months into living in the United States that one of my uncles enrolled me in a school on University Avenue called the Hub Center, where I started to learn English. When I came, I knew no English except for hi and thank you, and that was not enough for most of the time. My cousins, the one that lived here, didn't talk to me. I didn't know what to do. So I spent 6 months going to the Hub Center where I met lots of people. I met some old people who taught me lessons about life and the mistakes that they made. They told me not to focus only on work, but also to get an education. I met a lady who was friends with my uncle, and she told me about this place called Leap High School. I decided to enroll. I felt more comfortable knowing that people here were young adults like me and that they had similar paths. I made lots of friends, and I'm hoping to graduate this year, and I'm also working part time. In the future, I'd like to travel around the world, meet new people, and share stories. Right now, I'm trying to learn how to live in the present. That's Nathaniel's story.